Welcome to Megabucks Radio. Conversations with successful entrepreneurs, sharing their tips and strategies for success. Real-world ideas that can put megabucks in your bank account. Here's your host, Nina Hirschberger.
Well, hello there, and welcome to today's show. On the call today, I have Becky Auer. Becky and I have known each other, Beck, what is it, 15 years, something like that, a long time.
A long time.
I call Becky my $6.5 million woman because she and a former partner had started a restaurant years ago in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with zero restaurant experience. And within how long did it take you to get to $6.5 million in sales, Becky?
Just a little over a year.
A little over a year. No restaurant experience, 0 to 6.5 million. Now, that doesn't happen by accident. I always say the genius about Becky Auer is her consistency over time. So, in fact, Becky, since 2006, I think, if I'm right, Becky, you have done over 375 workshops, boot camps, seminars. You are a machine. Am I right about the dates, 2006 till now?
You are right about those dates, and it always cracks me up when we talk because I think, wow, when you sit there and think about that I've done that since 2006, excuse me, and every month talking to different business owners and things like that, it blows my mind as well. So,
well, you are certainly my hero. Becky has written 4 books. She's rated number 20 as a business coach in the entire world. So welcome to today's show, Becky. This is a real honor. I think we're going to kick it off, and we're going to talk. Let's go back in time when you were that $6.5 million woman that I think you maintained for about 7 years? You were
That's
in those.
Exactly right.
Okay. And your business partner was focused on the operations, delivery of the food, hiring of the staff, making sure everything was going that way. You focused on the marketing. It was all about the marketing. How large did you grow your list at that point? And I think the list was both email and physical address.
That's right. So, yeah, it was really, really interesting because I don't know what I was thinking. So this person who had opened a restaurant before came to me and said, look, I don't know anything about marketing. I know that you do. Do you want to open, a restaurant? And I was like, oh, I don't know. Do I want to open a restaurant? But I was tired of what I was doing at the time, which I've been lucky enough to be able to start and operate 3 multi-million-dollar businesses. The last was the restaurant. And so I went into it with him saying, look, I'll do all the marketing, and you're probably going to be scratching your head like, why is she doing this or why is she doing that? And as long as you don't question me and just let me go, I'll let you do, run the employees and the restaurant like you know how to do, and I won't question that. And it was just a match made in heaven. And so we built the list over those 7 years to over 63,000 unique email addresses and addresses for the people, which, to put that in perspective, which someone did for me, was enough to fill the arena where the Pittsburgh Penguins play. And when you think about it like that, it's like, dang, that's like a stadium almost, So it really ended up to be a wonderful experience and quite an accomplishment to capture that many in a database.
Well, I mean, and I personally have talked to you for years, and so there's lots of secrets behind there. But we're going to fast forward. We are nearly into July of 2020. And anybody hears the word 2020, the year 2020, knows this is not a good year. In fact, we just like to skip over this year. But Becky, is that the lessons you learned back then, the marketing strategies you used back then, all of the things that you did, is it applicable today in 2020?
Well, look, you can listen to a whole bunch of different people. I work with business owners that are on the ground, actually out there trying to survive, doing a good job. And there are just some certain, industries that are seriously struggling. And who knows if they will ever come back. But what I do know is that people who learn and implement direct response marketing have a 100% chance more to survive, because everything that they do or put into place can be measurable. And so you don't want to put good money after bad. So I always talk about return on investment. And look, if we're going to do this in marketing, we have to make sure that we're getting, a return for that. And it's a different atmosphere out there right now. So everyone's doing the best that they can do. But when you look back and say, should I stop marketing? I have, limited funds. A lot of people would say, now's the time to dump money into marketing because, states are opening back up. And if you work so hard, right, I feel so bad for some businesses because you work so hard to get them to show up at your brick and mortar every day. Like that's your goal, right? Is to have them come in and get a cup of coffee every day or whatever that thing is. And then to have, the government be like, everybody's got to stay at home now. And, let's all just go change things and level the playing field. It's really quite a different world. But the people who are ahead are the people who have a database and can reach out and say, hey, we're reopening. Here's when we're reopening. Here's what we're doing. So for every business owner out there that's listening, you must have an in-house database that you control and that you segment. It's my number one lesson that I always talk about.
Well, Becky, you and I are right on the same page. In fact, if there is anything that I have seen with business owners, it is the fact they never built a list. Never. Even my dentist during this whole period of time when they were shut down, do you think, let me back up in time. So I don't know, maybe about a year ago, we moved, so I had to find a new dentist. I went to the dentist, the very first appointment. They did all the x-rays, went through everything, and they gave me a plan. They said I needed all this kind of work. Now, Becky, since I have been a little girl, I have faithfully gone to the dentist every 6 months, no exceptions. So when I get this thing of, you need all this work, I'm thinking, really? However, and I can pay it. But however, so now we're in 2020. Now everybody's staying home. Now they have no business at all. Would you think, because they really did know who I was, although I'm sure not in a list that they could do much with, and they certainly never send just general emails out. But even if they would have reached out to me and given me a special deal when we reopen, if you pay now, you pay half down, you do whatever, then there could be income coming in. So lots of those stories. So tell me, give me some examples of businesses that you're seeing and that you're coaching right now, and ideas, list being number one, but keep going.
Yeah, well, look, we just had our mastermind meeting where, we have all sorts of different businesses in there. And, one's an insurance fellow, one's an auto repair person, one is a restaurant. I'm missing two others. Oh, one is a funnel builder, right? And my last person is home health care, and I'm still forgetting one. I know I'm forgetting one. Anyway, look, we work individually with them and say, what can we do to get results right now? If they are desperate and need money in the door, what does that look like? So thank goodness my restaurant fella had, came to me back in, or was referred to me by his SBA lender because he has a beautifully laid out place, but needed more business. His consultant who he had back then says, you don't need to do any marketing for 6 months. And I'm like, what? Like if I would have had him 6 months prior to that, he would have had a full restaurant. So we just started off with building a list. And so when the coronavirus hit, he had a list of over 5,000 unique guests that he was keeping in contact with every week. And then we put fun things into place to keep him top of mind. Like he did a nightly cooking class with his chef, and he did a nightly how to make a fun drink with his bartender. So like just to stay top of mind with people while everybody's going through this new phase, right? And same thing with my other industries is you just have to remain top of mind. So funny, my auto repair fella, he's been busy. He never really slowed down, but they're doing things differently, right? So like one of the things that we created for my restaurant guy was the squeaky clean kit. So with every takeout delivery order, he put in a roll of toilet paper, a little dab of hand sanitizer, 2 gloves, and something else. I'm failing to think of what that is right now. I think it might have been paper towels. But anyway, it was, call it a gimmick, call it whatever, but people loved it because he was entering the conversation that was already going on in their head. And then from that, he offered those squeaky clean kits, since they were such a hit, out to the people, out to the small business owners in the mastermind group. And then they took them, bought them from him. They didn't cost him more than like $1.25. So they paid him for these kits. He put them all together for them, and then they gave them out in their business too. And again, it's just entering the conversation going on in the people's heads. So it's those kind of things that you have to do when you're a small business owner to stay top of mind and, really touch base and work with your customers so they remember you and they know that you're thinking about them.
Well, I know that you have a software that you use to help these business owners. Talk to me about that software.
Yes, it's so there's 2 different things that I use right now with any client that I'm working with. One is the No BS Success Academy, which is an online e-learning program. So if somebody can't afford to be in my mastermind group but they can follow along online. It's a very cool system that supports small business owners and gives them access to all sorts of different tools and resources and support they need. And so like when they get in there, we run a complete diagnostic on their business. That then in turn spits out a customized marketing roadmap for them to follow. And then every week, because we don't want to overwhelm anyone, they get a video module and an email where, it tells them exactly what to do from the beginning of their business all the way through 52 years. So anybody who follows that knows more than 99% of the people out there, because everything in my e-learning system is direct response marketing. And so things that like I put in the resource library were a whole bunch of almost $1 million worth of different examples of marketing campaigns, strategy libraries, templates, so you don't have to recreate the wheel, because I know what that's like when you look at a blank page. There's a whole headline bank in there, sample letters, like it's amazing. And so, with that is just, if somebody wants to do it themselves, they can do it that way. And then secondarily, what has been happening kind of behind the scenes is for the last about 3 to 4 years, I've worked with developers on a proprietary software. And the software does a couple things. It's separate from the No BS Success Academy, but if they come to me and they need like help that second, I can take them through this software and it helps me uncover breakthroughs in 12 different areas of their business. Then it helps prioritize where to, like an order of implementation almost, taking them from the exact steps to start putting money in their pocket right away, which is like amazing for today's small business owners. Because like if we would have done this 6 months ago, it's probably very different than it would be today. And then it shows how to get more revenue and profits, working through the upcoming year. So it gives you the exact steps to make all of that happen. And simple, small changes that don't cost a lot of money, but then you see massive growth in your business. So yeah, there's been a lot going on since last you and I talked, for sure.
Well, let's get some more specifics, because I really want anybody listening to this to be writing down and knowing. So the first one was list. Do you have So in the marketing world, we'll call it CRM. It's a customer resource management. It's where you put the names, the database. So when you write an email, you send it out to your entire database. You also talked about segmenting. So in your restaurant business, you could have probably had people that spent X number of dollars and, were a frequent person, so they would be a VIP or whatever, however you segment in your business. But give me some other examples. I loved the Super Clean or whatever the name of that was.
Squeaky Clean Kit, yep.
Yeah, that was really cool. Give me some. Here's the one I know I like to talk about a lot, and I'm sure you do too, is looking at their expenses, their costs.
Right.
Sometimes that can get away from businesses.
Super simple. Look, everybody now has gone to the monthly payment, right? Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a CRM or if it's just some type of software or whatever. So you sign up for this thinking, having all great intentions that you're either going to utilize or use what you just bought. And a lot of times life just happens and, you get away from that. So one of the first things that we do when we sit down with clients is go through what you're calling the cost-cutting methods. And one of them is, look, let me just take, the last 6 months of your credit card statements and, the way that you pay for things, maybe it's PayPal or Stripe or whatever, and let's just go through that and make sure that you're, not paying for something that you're not using. So even just one of those things can save them so much money, because whoever really sits there and thinks, oh, let me just go through my credit card bills and see, what's on there. You just pay it most of the time. But when you're in crisis situations like many business owners are today, that's one of the easiest things that you can do quickly, to go through and, and look at, do cost cutting, pretty quickly. And I bet you'll end up saving anywhere between a couple $100 to maybe even $1,000.
Well, there's I talk about two kinds of costs. One is variable costs. So if you're creating a widget, if you're making something, it's the cost of goods. The second one is fixed costs. So that's your overhead. Maybe it's as simple as renegotiating their lease where they're at. Maybe now that so many people are home, I say I'm so glad I'm not in the commercial real estate market right now, because businesses are finding out, what, their staff can work from home, and maybe they don't have to have so many buildings that they're leasing. That's a possibility, renegotiating your leases. What about a copier machine? Copiers most of the time are leased. Maybe you can get a better deal on that. Cost of goods sold. Have you done any kind of getting more quotes for whatever it is you're producing? So let's say in my case I do magazines. Maybe I should be quoting 3 different printers right now, and maybe I would get a better price. So not only eliminating, which is what you suggested by the credit card statement method, but also renegotiating a lot of those things and doing it frequently. That's the beauty about having you, Becky, as a coach, because this is not a one-time kind of thing. You could say every 6 months, let's go over your credit card statement again. Did you renegotiate that? We're right in the process right now of getting a new vehicle for the business, looking at all the different lease options, because we lease vehicles for the business. So those kind of things.
Yep, for sure. And look, you have to be proactive, right? You can't just curl up in a ball and say, woe is me. Everybody out there that is, look, entrepreneurs are resilient, if nothing else. So even if your money didn't come in from the government, everyone's trying to find a way to make it out there. And when you do, right, you take one thing and you do that today, and then tomorrow, you're proactive on something else, and the next day you're proactive on something else. And, as long as you can stay proactive and not curl up in a ball and say, the end of the world is here, just take steps forward, even if they're baby steps, because there are a lot of panicked people out there, and I understand that. I witness it and I see it. And then I see the people who are, thriving because they have their database. They can reach out to people. They have, they had like a crisis report or a crisis plan in place. So, they kind of went into crisis mode. So it makes you as a business owner realize the things that you do have and the things that you don't have, right? And so a lot of that is just, time and circumstance. But I feel sure when we all come out of this Corona phase, that there will be a lot more people that have like a crisis plan in place, or at least thinking about it, like what if, if this happens, then what? If this happens, then what? And it's important, but most people never, think about it until it's too late.
Well, I'm also seeing a lot of business owners that are saying, what other kind of stream of income can I get? Yes, I'm a restaurant owner. Now, this is kind of a silly example, but what if you're a restaurant owner? You said he put those sanitizing thing packages together and he sold it to some other people, not other restaurants. He sold it to other kind of businesses. I'm seeing a lot of that kind of thing. Alternate streams of income. Maybe your restaurant owner guy that was doing the cooking classes, maybe at some point he charges for the cooking classes. It's something fun to do, and somebody would be willing to pay for that.
I've seen it happen time and time again. Like one of my friends who is also a business owner put online that she was going to be doing a class for children, like a dance class. She owned a dance studio. And so she was just like, hey, I'm going to, do a Zoom dance class online for free because, right, all the parents who had to do homeschooling, were going crazy, right, because the kids were home all day. They were trying to work. They were trying to function without an income. And so this was like a 1 hour break of, pure neediness on the parents' end, and this woman was just trying to do a good thing. And from that one act, right, from that one gift of her running a 5-day free dance class, she got a ton of new students signed up because they loved her. They loved the dance classes. She was going to keep doing them online, but then she had to start charging because her time is worth something for sure. And it just worked out perfectly. So if you are a small business owner where you can offer something to help the parents control the kids, oh my gosh, it's like a win-win. The parents will never forget you for taking the kids off their hands for, a half hour or 1 hour a day.
Well, I wonder how many are actually going to be doing more homeschooling or wish they knew how to do homeschooling. So, for instance, let's say you're a stay-at-home mom, or you're somebody, stay-at-home grandma, or somebody, and you would love to have but you're not an educator. What if that teacher creates an online school, and that online school can be given to anybody anywhere in the world? So not only are businesses pivoting and taking things online and also doing alternate streams of income, they're really changing the way they do business because they have to do it how people want. I'm telling you right now, if I knew of somebody who had an online school for the elementary, I would be looking at it for my grandchildren who are going to start kindergarten. I got 3 of them. 3 5-year-olds are going to be starting kindergarten this fall. I think it would be fun to, even have them come here and be in school here, because then you know what they're doing, where they're at, who their friends are, and all of that. So
yeah.
Give me any other kind of ideas that you're seeing. Anybody else?
Well, look, one of the things that my home healthcare client did was, she really wanted her caregivers who are in the home with the elderly to be, and the elderly were so isolated, right? I mean, the family really, couldn't come see them, or maybe they were out of town. So what we came up with for her was to do Zoom bingo. because all the elderly people love bingo. And so I said, look, why don't you, get people to raise their hand, have your caregivers ask the people they take care of if they'd be interested in doing online bingo. And one of the beauties of that was that the caregivers knew how to set up Zoom. So they set up a Zoom call for their caregiver, and Zoom, Zoom went into the home office, and there was a woman who is the administrator there who loves bingo. And so they got their acts together and sent out 2 bingo cards for everybody who was interested, gave them specifics on how it was going to work, had the back of the bingo cards written down with A2. So when bingo was called, they went to the board, say it was A2 that had the bingo, and could check the numbers that way. Like, it was really organized. I actually jumped on because I wanted to see how it went. And their administrator was great. You could tell she loved bingo and that she had done it before. And the people playing appreciated it so much because they're home and bored stiff and can only watch so much TV too. And they were all interacting. And so she was hosting that every 2 weeks. And the first week, there was only about 9 people on. But I said, look, be consistent, and this will grow for her clientele.
Okay, so let's go along that path. That is fabulous. So
right?
The home health care, her staff, were they still able to go into the homes, or did they have to somehow teach them by, remotely or something?
Nope, they had to go into the homes to care for the people, and they could say no, but of course they wanted to keep their job too, so they were just cautious. They wore masks and, gloves and did everything that they were supposed to do. They got additional training on that, but they had to keep going in to help these clients who were homebound, And so, yes, they went in with masks, and that answers that question.
So if I was the daughter of somebody, my mother, who they went in, and I found out they were doing bingo, and my mom was so happy about it, and she was looking forward to the next, that would be a big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal. And so then I said, look, make sure to put the call to action at the end of, the bingo games. Look, if you know anybody else that's a friend of yours who either lives in an apartment building and has, because she did a couple of the people that went on lived in an apartment building. And she said, if you have other people in an apartment building who you think would enjoy this, please let us know and we'll send them out bingo cards. Or if they were homebound, if you want us to reach out to, your family members to let them know that we're doing this, just let us know. And they did get a big response that way. And their whole thing was, look, we're taking care of who we have right now. This could be a great way to get referrals because it's just a fun thing to do. And they get to know us and they get to trust us and we'll get more business. And that's exactly how it's working out because she thought outside the box. She's doing something that, takes some planning. She didn't just willy-nilly it, right? She actually planned it out and thought it out, and her people are loving it.
Well, I could see, if we're talking about alternate streams of income, I could see where she literally packages that and sells it out of her area to non-competing businesses that do the same thing.
100%. We've already talked about it. And she was really good. I'm like, did you find all this out online? And she goes, no, we just kind of figured it out just by kind of trial and error in the home office, So she absolutely 100% could sell this to other home health care facilities.
So Becky, I'm looking at our time, and we're almost out of time. But here's the message I'm hearing you bring through very loud and clear. Yes, it's a bad time. Yes, we've not been happy through some of this stuff. And yes, entrepreneurs and business owners are struggling, but there really is hope. There really is opportunity. But if you stay in your own little environment with your own little world and you don't have a mentor, you don't have a coach, you don't have a mastermind, chances are, this is the first time I would have ever thought about a bingo with it. I would have never thought of that. So that it's really critical that you have, particularly right now, a coach, a mentor, a mastermind, something. And this is not a sales pitch. This is not a sales pitch because I have I have a real passion for these struggling business owners. These are families. These are their kids. I mean, they wake up every morning or they can't sleep at night because they're wondering how are they going to do it next. So
That's
you
right.
talked about your online academy. I think, Beck, give us the website. Where would you send somebody?
Yeah, if they want to check out and see everything that's like inside of it, if they just go to nobssuccessacademy.com/guided tour, that gives them a short video that they can watch and everything that's included inside. So, if they don't have the means to join a mastermind, or maybe they're out far I'm even though everything's online now, which actually I'm finding to be quite convenient because I can work with any small business owner because I'm not holding masterminds live and in person anymore. So it really does give business owners too an opportunity to work with other business owners, that want help or that can, perform their duties, if you will, online. But if they don't, have, maybe they're thinking, oh, I can't afford a mastermind. Look, this where I just sent you, nobssuccessacademy.com/guided tour. That is do it yourself. You can go in there, you can follow along. It's 52 weeks. It's unbelievably clear on, how to get yourself and your business set up by following a customized marketing roadmap. It takes literally all the guesswork out of everything. And then look, when you're ready, or if you need extra help, jump in. I have a VIP group. I have a mastermind group. I do a monthly meeting for people. So super simple to connect. And, I'd love to work with any small business owner. My sweet spot where I found that I can really help small business owners are small business owners anywhere top line making $500,000 up to about $4 million. That's where they fit in perfectly with my mastermind groups and things like that. And anybody underneath that, I would say check out where I just mentioned and start there. Everybody starts somewhere. I've been doing this for, oh my God, almost 30 years. 30 years. It's embarrassing to say. But, everybody starts somewhere on learning, what is emotional direct response marketing and why it's so important to use in your business when you're a small business owner.
Well, so many small business owners think they're in the business of whatever it is they do, baking pies, fixing cars. Truly, they really are in the business of marketing and not doing those kind of things. So, Becca, what is that guided tour? What is that cost on a monthly basis for somebody?
Yeah. So it's $97 a month. It's super affordable for everything that you're getting. You get access to the full program. It's not like a light version or anything. And so it's $97 a month, or if you want to prepay, it's $997 for the year.
And so they get 2 months for free. So awesome.
They get 2 months for free if they do it that way. Yeah, but I understand people are on a budget, and if you fall within the parameters of the $500,000 to $4 million, and have employees or things like that where you might want them to have access to this, or if you're in the lower end of that, there are business grants available. I'm not sure right this second how many are left, but it gives you some details about that too when you go to the guided tour section. So if there's anybody listening and they want to apply for that, they can just reach out to me at Becky@BeckyAuer.com, and I can give the link for that as well.
And Auer is spelled AUER. So Becky, AUER.com.
Yep.
Well, Becky,
exactly right.
Thank you for being on today's program. This was so informative. It's always fun to now I learned about bingo today, about what a brilliant, everything is always brilliant. I love listening and talking to you. So thank you for being on the show.
Oh, you're so welcome. Oh my gosh, it's my pleasure.
All right, and thank you for listening in today's program. Remember, don't hide in your office. Don't hide in your home. Get out there and make things happen.
Thank you for listening to Megabucks Radio with Nina Hirschberger. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or to listen to past episodes, visit megabucksradio.com.